Hi, my name is Sandy Cormack. I'm an organizational development consultant, and I'm preparing this presentation today to introduce a new research and implementation project that I'm developing called NextGenCyber. And I'd like to go over this program with you and enlist your support, enlist your help, because at this stage, what I really am looking for are some engaged partners who can help me launch this into the stratosphere. What I want to give to you today is an overview of the problem that we're trying to address with this project, the strategic goals of our project, the methodology and approach that we're taking to attack the problem, and the outcomes that we're expecting. And then again, I will leave my contact information so that if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to address them. So let's talk about the problem. As you can see by this graphic here, um, there is a vast shortage of cybersecurity talent across the nation. And as a result of this, um, there are a whole lot of cybersecurity jobs that are going unfilled, close to 500,000 uh, as of March 2025. The information that I get is from the cyberseek.org website. I use that as a resource a whole lot. As you can see here, in Texas alone, which I've highlighted, there are close to 37,000 openings that are left unfilled. And you can see also in this graphic the states where this is the biggest problem. We're talking California, Colorado, Texas, Florida, Illinois, Virginia, Maryland, and New York. Uh, this is a nationwide problem, though, and it's something that we need to address by first taking a look at the pipeline of where the talent is coming from and what we can do to put more talent into that pipeline. So our strategic goals of the NextGenCyber project are to find and cultivate the next generation of high-performing cybersecurity professionals. And we want to do that by expanding the talent pipeline and strategically involving individuals, employers, and other stakeholders. And the methodology that we want to use to do this is to use a tool that is called psychometric benchmarking. We use psychometric benchmarking to identify young talent for cyber-related career fields early in their educational process. We can deploy a benchmark-driven assessment tool in schools and industry to identify talent and assess a very broad group of high school students to identify a cadre of strong cybersecurity candidates who have both the aptitude and the attitude to succeed in the workforce. And the idea of aptitude versus attitude is something that you might not have considered in any career-related field, because not only do you need to have the aptitude, the technical skill, the know-how, uh, the pedigree, the experience to perform a job, you also need the attitude. You need to have a good match between who you are as a person, your temperament, and what it takes to succeed in that career role. And that's something that we don't have a great handle on. We tend to hire people because of their aptitude, but we tend to fire them because of their lack of attitude or not having the right attitude, not being a good fit for the role or the culture of the organization. So we want to try to introduce that into the pipeline by using the psychometric model to locate where the cybersecurity talent really is. So to do that, we're going to use what's called a career benchmark. It's a set of assessments that are used to create a psychometric model for what does a high-performing individual in this career field look like. We look at how they think, how they behave, and what motivates them. And this benchmark represents the attributes, the personality attributes of the person who you would want to clone. if you could. If I had a really great project manager and I said, man, if I only had 10 more people just like this project manager, I wouldn't have any problems at all. That's what I mean by cloning. You measure the best attributes of the best high-performing people that you have, and you use that to form a benchmark to help you find people who can do that role at a high level. When you have such a benchmark, you can determine how well a person fits a role because it takes a look at what their results are. It looks at the benchmark and it says this person is either an excellent, very good, average, or poor fit for the role. And right now I'm working with 90 statistical benchmarks that cover hundreds of careers. The word statistical in here is extremely important in understanding how a benchmark works, because you don't just take the benchmark or the assessment and give it to one high-performing person. You take the assessment and you give it to hundreds of high-performing people. And then you take the data that comes from that and you do a statistical analysis. And through that statistical analysis, you determine what are the personality traits, attributes associated with being a high-performing individual in this role. So here's an example using some of the benchmarks that I already have. I took a group of high school students and I applied benchmarks, four in this case, to their personality assessment results. And the four roles that I compared them with are those of a software developer, a technical analyst, a surgical nurse, and an interior designer. And as you can see here, there are some people who are excellent fits for the software developer role, but who are very poor or average fits for other roles. And you could say that across the board. There are some people who are excellent or very good career fits for more than one career by looking at this benchmark. And this is what is of value to both the student, because it gives them ideas on what kind of roles they can fulfill, and also the industry, because it shows you here's where the candidates are. And that's why we want to take this approach to solving the problem. So our approach to this is to implement a two-phased project. Phase one is research. And this is where we validate the benchmarks that we have and develop new benchmarks if we need to. And this is something that I'm funding by myself. This is the part that I'm launching right now. And then phase two is implementation, where you take the benchmarks that you've developed and validated and apply it to the world. You start, assessing high school students and locating where that talent is. And this is a very large project. It will probably need to be grant funded. Conceivably, it's something that can be launched in every state and every county in the nation. So let's talk a little bit about phase one research. So here are some of the existing benchmarks that I have. I've got a benchmarks for a software engineer. I have one for an information technology analyst, and I have one for a technical support specialist. I also have some other benchmarks that may be of value to the industry, but not necessarily to finding talent in schools. So product manager, project manager, quality manager, and trainer are four that we could be assessing. Also, we have some managerial benchmarks for executive management, general manager, and supervisor. All of these are statistical benchmarks. They've all been validated. They're all currently in use. So to take a look at the targeted roles for the research phase of this project, I go to, again, to cyberseek.org, and I take a look at their career pathways tool. And I look across the entry level, mid-level, and advanced level roles. And in talking with some people in the cybersecurity industry, we're able to sort of whittle this down a bit and also suggest some other roles that may not be in this pathway, but are also important. So initially, we're going to be looking at the entry level and mid-level from this list. So cybersecurity specialist, cybercrime analyst, incident and intrusion analyst, IT auditor, cybersecurity analyst, cybersecurity consultant, and penetration and vulnerability tester. We're also going to be taking a look at some additional ones that aren't on this list, but nonetheless are very important. Digital forensics, cyber operations specialists, and technical support. So that's sort of the starting point for our benchmark assessment and development project. So I showed you the benchmarks that I already have. And the reason that we can make good use of those is sometimes you can leverage an existing benchmark and apply it to more than one career field. So as an example, I've got a benchmark for medical professional. And this medical professional benchmark actually applies to 7 different careers, as I've listed here. So one of the goals of my project is to investigate how well the existing benchmarks apply to other cybersecurity fields. So that IT, if I go back here, that several of these are analyst roles: cybersecurity analyst, cybercrime analyst, incident and intrusion analyst. I'm going to be looking at how well my information technology analyst benchmark applies to those roles. And this is another way of looking at that. Maybe the cybersecurity specialist um, career pathway that shows it going to either analyst, consultant, or tester is valid. If so, a benchmark for cybersecurity analyst should probably apply to all 4 roles. Um, I'm not so sure about that. That's going to be one of the theories that I test during the research, because this career pathway tool at cybersecurity.org doesn't distinguish between roles that much. As a matter of fact, what it says essentially is you can enter the pathway at any point and become anything that you want to in this. Uh, Whereas I already know that there are differences between benchmarks for the software engineer, for instance, and the IT analyst. So I'm expecting there's going to be subtle differences between these that'll come out during the data analysis phase. So the strategic initiatives to accomplish this research are, first of all, we need to acquire industry partners. And I've already acquired one that has really helped me shape what we're doing here, and take those partners and acclimate them to the whole benchmarking concept. Once we acquire these partners, we need to use them to help enlist current high-performing cybersecurity professionals to take the assessment. Upwards of like 250 for each career. So if we had 10 careers, that would be upwards of about 2,500 total professionals taking the assessments to help validate the benchmark and develop new benchmarks. So we use that data to validate the benchmarks for accuracy, to determine how well they apply to other cybersecurity fields, and then use that to field a sustainable talent evaluation tool to industry. We will also need to take that data and develop any additional benchmarks from our research findings and then publish the results. So the work products for this research are going to be the benchmark validation and data, the personality assessments for all participating organizations, new statistical benchmarks for high demand cybersecurity careers, the final report, press release, stakeholder outbriefs, and everything going along to publish the results. And then a sustainable benchmark enhanced assessment tool for high schools to use to identify talent, and a hiring tool for the cybersecurity industry. So the incentives that I have for participating organizations simply are, first of all professionals who help validate the benchmark will receive the personality assessment report, which is called Advanced Insights. And I will give them walkthrough videos to help them understand their results. And then the organizations of the professionals will receive personality assessments for their entire workforce, with access to the walkthrough videos. Free use of the benchmark-driven hiring tool for a limited time. I'm thinking 1 to 2 months. Haven't decided that yet. And training on how to use the benchmark marking tool in hiring. So there's going to be some incentives there for organizations to uh, uh, enable their cybersecurity professionals to participate in this. Now, phase two is the big project. This is probably going to be a grant-funded implementation that will take a long time to accomplish. And the strategic initiatives for this are identify the initial states for participation. If you go back to that CyberSeek map, it gives you some pretty good ideas of what those should be. Probably that list of 7 to 8 states that have the highest demand for cybersecurity professionals would be a good place to start. But at any rate, identify initial states for participation, inform all county school systems within those states on the uses and validity of the benchmarking concept, identify and assess high school candidates using all available benchmarks. Now, probably do this on a county by county basis, inform high school candidates of their best fit careers, and then provide the industry partners a list of excellent and very good cybersecurity candidates. So one thing I want to make clear here, the high school students aren't just going to get cybersecurity career um, assessments. They're going to get assessments for all the benchmarks that I have, of which cybersecurity will be, 10 of them. That will give them an idea of what careers they could excel in and maybe get their thinking along those lines of, to prepare myself, what should I be doing? But within that data, the subset that is cybersecurity only, I will separate that and I will give that to my industry partners. So the work products of this are the benchmarking reports for all students, and then that separated list of cybersecurity candidates rated excellent and very good across a number of cybersecurity careers, and make that available to all industry partners and stakeholders. And then the same information, final report, press release, stakeholder outbriefs, etc. Also some training for guidance counselors and a completed high school assessment tool that can be sustained for ongoing use. So the outcomes of phase two for student participants, they get this personality assessment that reveals key strengths and blind spots and lays out a personal development plan for them. Also, they get the benchmarking report showing the list of excellent and very good career fits for them. They get training on how to interpret the assessment and benchmark report, and then they achieve a deep level of self-awareness and some tools to make really good career decisions. And for the industry participants, they get a list of several thousand excellent and very good cybersecurity candidates. And they can use this to target further training, internship opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities, and credentialing opportunities. So let's say these kids maybe as early as their 9th and 10th grade could be introduced to some CompTIA accreditations so that they could get some credentialed, and craft some roles for them so that they can start doing apprenticeship and internship opportunities while still in high school. Also, craft some roles for them that are credential-based rather than degree-based. We see that happening more and more, finding roles for people coming out of high school that don't require them to get a 4-year degree. This would be a really good way of helping develop those opportunities and targeting people while they're still in high school to enter those pipelines. So the ultimate strategic outcomes, it's the means to connect cyber-related advocate organizations with more candidates to provide training and coaching. It gives the means to connect industry with more candidates to provide internship and apprenticeship opportunities, and a refined, sustainable process that can be rolled out for other industries. If it works for the cyber industry, it can work from the manufacturing, construction, healthcare, warehousing, logistics, biotechnology, whatever you can think of. And my role in this as strategic diagnostics owner is to, first of all, educate industry partners on general benchmarking concepts, provide the assessment tool and manage it, collect and analyze data, develop the new benchmarks, issue reports on all of my findings, develop sustainment models, and manage the benchmarking system for both public schools and industry stakeholder use. What I need from industry partners are introduction. Who all should I involve? I want to build a very strong set of partners to help launch phase one. I believe I should be involving NIST and NICE. I believe I should be involving CompTIA. I believe I should be involving organizations, national organizations. Um, is the list of targeted cybersecurity careers complete? Are there others that we should add to it? Do we need to trim it down? Um, I also need the high-performing professionals in each career field to take the assessment. That's going to be the thing that we can start immediately. And also to review and comment on the findings. And what I offer, again, in return for this, personality assessments for your entire workforce, for use of the benchmarks for a limited period of time, for hiring and development purposes, and technical support and training. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me at the email address, sandy@strategicdiagnosticsllc.com. And you can call me at 410-459-5508, and I will be happy to address them. Thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'm looking forward to enlist you to become a partner and help us launch this vitally needed program. Have a great rest of your day.